Imagine two identical brothers who make the exact same income and share the exact same goal, financial freedom. Starting in 2005, they both commit to setting aside exactly $2,000 every single year for 2 solid decades. But their paths split immediately based on a single psychological trait, the fear of losing money. Brother A deposits his roughly $166 a month straight into a standard FDIC-insured bank account. For him, seeing a number that never goes down brings total peace of mind. Brother B takes a completely different route. He takes his $166 a month and automatically buys an S&P 500 index fund. He understands that building long-term wealth requires owning a piece of the American economy itself. This data visualization shows exactly how that works. When Brother B transfers his money, that single deposit is instantly broken down into microscopic fractions of the 500 largest publicly traded U.S. companies. He acquires shares in tech giants, financial banks, and major consumer brands. At the starting line, both men feel completely secure in their choices. Yet these opposing definitions of safety will dictate their financial survival over the next 20 years. For a few years, everything runs smoothly. Then the great financial crisis of 2008 hits. The global economy freezes as major institutions buckle under toxic debt. Brother B watches his investment portfolio get absolutely crushed. In a single year, the S&P 500 crashes by a massive 37%. Meanwhile, Brother A opens his banking app to see a perfectly flat line. He hasn't lost a single cent, seemingly proving that the stock market is far too dangerous for his hard-earned cash. This chart shows the defense Brother B uses, dollar cost averaging. Because he keeps his automatic transfers running, his $166 buys more equity. At the peak, that money buys 2 shares. At the bottom of the crash, it buys 4 shares. That refusing to sell in a panic, Brother B turns a devastating market crash into an automated discount. He accelerates his share accumulation when prices are at their absolute lowest. To stimulate the battered economy after 2008, the Federal Reserve steps in to heavily manipulate the cost of borrowing. They implement zero interest rate policies, making cash incredibly cheap for institutions to access. Simultaneously, the banking sector shrinks dramatically. Between the early 2000s and today, the number of banking institutions drops from over 10,000 to roughly 4,300 as failures and massive consolidations sweep the industry. This line graph tracks the direct result for depositors. With cheap money flooding the system and less competition among banks, the national average savings rate plummets, eventually hitting an anemic 0.06% by the early 2020s. The institutional banking system simply stops paying Brother A for his capital. The core premise of the saver strategy, that cash generates safe, reliable interest, is quietly broken. But the lack of interest is only half the problem. The government tracks the cost of living using the Consumer Price Index, measuring the relentless upward climb of a standard basket of goods. Between 2005 and 2025, basic groceries experience a 150% price surge. A loaf of bread goes from 99 cents to $2.49. The average price of a gallon of gas leaps from $1.50 to over $3, a 120% increase over the exact same time frame. The average single-family home price balloons from roughly $311,000 to an overwhelming $582,000. While Brother A's bank balance trickles upward by fractions of a single percent, the actual cost of sustaining his life escalates by double and triple digits. Inflation acts as a hidden, compounding tax on his deposits. Holding a static cash position for 2 decades is mathematically equivalent to actively draining your wealth. 2 decades pass. Brother A, the pure saver who avoided market volatility entirely, finishes the race with $47,357. He gained just over $7,000 in nominal terms, leaving him with severely diminished real-world purchasing power. This bar chart displays the massive gap between the brothers. Brother B's consistent equity market participation turns that exact same $40,000 principal into a final balance of $166,591. Look at this third bar. A massive historical study from Charles Schwab tested what would happen if an investor had the worst luck in human history. If you saved your money all year and invested it on the absolute highest peak day right before every major crash, you still crossed the 20-year mark with over $151,000. Even the most unlucky investor triples the wealth of the pure saver. The math provides clear rules for your own capital. Restrict your cash strictly to a 3 to 6 month emergency fund for short-term safety. Then purchase broad index funds to capture corporate innovation and profit. Finally, completely automate those monthly contributions to strip all human emotion out of the process. Time in the market always dominates timing the market. Continuous stock market investing is not an optional gamble. It is your required defense against the silent devaluation of your money.